back, I came here with my children, and because I thought that this place was only for children, only to realize that me and the people that I came with, we enjoyed more than the children. That's why I thought that this is a beautiful place for everyone to come and enjoy. Please join us. Let's enjoy the show.
You're welcome. Welcome to Uganda Wildlife Conservation Education Center.
Thank you.
Here at the Entebbe Zoo,
Yes.
where we have a variety of ecosystems, animals, plant resources, bird species. I believe you're going to have a great time here at the Entebbe Zoo, and you're going to learn at the end of the day. Because our role is to change your mindset and change the mindset of the viewer. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. What's your name, sir?
My name is Ntalumba Eric, the Public Relations Officer of this institution.
Okay.
Yes, please.
How long have you been here?
Well, I've been here for 2 years to work as the PRO, and it's been a journey, quite interesting, a learning experience for me, and there's still a lot more to learn at this institution.
Have you found it fun working with this place?
Of course. This has been my dream to work in the wildlife tourism sector. It's quite eye-opening. There's a connection between nature and man. You appreciate the wonders of God's creation. And I think when you look at the animals, look at the plants, there's beauty in nature. And we work tooth and nail to protect, conserve, and preserve nature.
Mr. Eric,
Yes, please.
if someone is out there would want to come and be part of this, what are the qualifications?
Well, it depends on if you want to be part of the staff or the support staff. Well, usually we call for applications. In most cases, we invite once in a let's say once in a while. Well, we call people to apply, and when we have opportunities through the Human Resource Department, and regardless of your gender, regardless of your tribe, we welcome all faces, ages, that is of course 18 and above, and they come here to support, because remember, we are looking after the national resource, and wildlife is for the entire country. It's our gift from God. So they join us.
This saying that goes technical no who.
No.
No longer technical no.
No, this government institution we do not have technical no who. But it's about your ability to serve and what are your capabilities. So you need to know what you want, which area, because we have, for instance, we have the animal zookeepers, animal keepers, or animal caregivers. We have educators. We have people with the tourism background, wildlife background. We have veterinary doctors. We have accounts office, so finance. You know, it's varied. We have hospitality, front desk. So it depends on your capability. However, it's not about also what you studied, but how best you can deliver. So opportunities are always given. And people are happy because the staff here, they come from different parts of this country. So regardless of where you come from, who you are, who your parents are, your work unites us all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eric. Can you tell me about the zoo? What is the zoo all about?
Interesting. Well, this facility was established originally in 1952. So 1952, this is 2021. Next year, we make 70 years. So 1952, it was an orphanage center where injured animals, sick animals were brought here for treatment. In 1960, it became the Entebbe Zoo. The name you all know, that rings a bell. And then,
very interesting name.
Yes. Then in 1970, it was run down.
Yes.
During that time, there were insurgencies. Remember the political government at the time.
Yes.
So it was run down in 1970s.
Yes.
And then in 1994, it was taken over by a board of trustees.
Okay.
And that is when it became Uganda Wildlife Education Center.
Okay.
That name also rings a bell. Remember the Come See, Come Learn? That is then.
Yes.
Then, of course, later in 2015, we became a statutory body.
Yes.
An act of parliament, that is the UWEC Act 2015.
Yes.
We became a statutory body.
Yes.
And we became Uganda Wildlife Conservation Education Center.
All right.
In 1994, it was Uganda Wildlife Education Center. So now our mandate is conservation education, to teach the public, the masses, about conservation education, to appreciate wildlife, to change their mindset.
Yes.
Yes, that's what we do. But our mission is basically we do carry out rescue of wildlife, sick, injured, orphaned wildlife.
Yes.
We have the veterinary hospital where the animals are brought in here. They are taken to the veterinary hospital, treated, put into quarantine, and then, of course, later put in the different exhibits. But the ultimate purpose or goal is to release them back to the wild.
Oh. Because
this center is what we call, it's under captive management.
Yes.
We have two kinds of management. There is in situ, that is the wild, their origins actually, where they stay, the forests, the protected areas. And then we have ex situ, outside, their natural habitats.
Yes.
And these are the zoos, these are sanctuaries. So they are brought to this side. So the animals that are here, majority came when they were sick, they were injured. Some of them were rescued from wildlife trafficking, and some are orphaned. So we brought them here at tender age, and have been raised, some have been treated, and they find the center as a home. So after that rehabilitation, some of them feel comfortable. Yeah, but also there's a process. We believe they need to stay in the wild. So that is what we do. And this is the captive, basically the captive setting. So the animals here, we feed them, we treat them, we take care of their welfare.
Yes.
We offer enrichment. Enrichment is basically to boost their physical and mental health.
Yes.
And that is what we do here. And that is why when you look at the animals, they're all healthy and quite amazing.
Okay.
Yes.
Why the name zoo?
Well, zoo.
I have always wondered what it means, and
I know. Well, the name zoo. We could just step in there. The name zoo has been there for quite some time.
Yes.
But when you look at why we're called zoo, because of the captive management, the ex situ, that's why we're not called a national park.
Yes.
Because we're not in a natural wild area.
Yes.
But this is a zoo. But we also don't believe in the name zoo. We changed it to Uganda, to Wildlife Conservation Center. Because when you look at this facility, it is a semi-natural habitat. Yes. You see the forested ecosystem. Yes. You will see the savanna ecosystem. Yes. You will see the wetlands, the wetland freshwater ecosystem. Yes. So it gives you a feel of how the wild looks like. So the zoo thing has more of capturing and looking up animals, so that people come and look at them. It has a linkage to, I would call it like a more of imprisonment. Okay. But when you look at our animals here, much as they come when they are sick, rehabilitated, they are free to graze. We have free-ranging animals. We have birds that fly all over because we have the lake. We're on the shores of Lake Victoria. So it's a very natural, free kind of space for them. So we prefer calling ourselves a Wildlife Conservation Center rather than the zoo. Though we are members of the World Association of Zoos and Aquaria. That is the global body of all zoos in the world. We also represent Africa on the board of international zoo educators. In the wild or in the protected areas, they call them guides. Yeah, they'll call them guides. Yes. Here we call them educators because we have a role to play to change mindsets, to educate people. And then we also chair the Pan-African Zoo and Aquaria, Pan-African Zoos and Aquaria. It's PAZA. That is the organization for all zoos and aquaria on the continent of Africa. And UWEC holds the chairman post. Our executive director, Dr. James Musenguzi, is actually the chairman. Okay. So that shows you, and also we sit on the International Primatology Society, the African Primatology Society, primates. We are also representing. So that shows you that our role, our works go beyond Uganda, but also on the international level. But before I forget, we are the best zoo in East, West, and Central Africa. Around 2017, a group of researchers, a group of zoo educators came to Uganda, and they were doing studies, doing assessments. And when they assessed the zoos in the region, they found ours unique because of the location, being on the shores of Lake Victoria, the largest, of course, lake on the continent, and the second largest fresh water body in the world. It would attract birds from as far as Europe. Then they looked at our ecosystems, having the savanna, where you'll find the zebras, having the forested ecosystem, you will see the chimpanzees, having the wetland swamps, where you'll find the shoebills and grey-crowned cranes, known as the crested cranes. It was unique. It was natural, that natural feel. So, and then also the management, the protocols in place, safety protocols, the operating procedures. So they chose us. And actually, we became the best in East, West, and Central Africa. And actually, we are more like a standard. We offer the standards upon which others operate. Then here locally, we of course ensure that the zoos here operate within the acceptable standards. So whoever wants to start up a zoo in Uganda, you need to get our endorsement because we are a standard upon which World Association of Zoos and Aquaria follows to ensure that operating procedures and zoo practices are put in place. So that is what we are.
Thank you, Mr. Eric.
You're welcome.
How many do we have in Uganda?
Well, that's a very good question. We have about, that is an elephant. That's an elephant.
Wow,
that is
beautiful.
We have a zebra there. Now all these animals are always in the savannah. You know the savannah, when you go to, let's say, Lake Mboro National Park. I don't know which national park you visited. Or when you go to Queen Elizabeth. So that is more of a savannah kind of area. So when you will see the elephants, you'll find them in Kidepo, find them in Murchison, you'll find them in Queen Elizabeth. Zebras, of course, Lake Mboro National Park and Kidepo, you'll find them there. And then, of course, these cobs, you know where to find them. You find them in Queen Elizabeth. Also, Lake Mboro, I think, has some. But these animals were rescued. It was orphaned. Its parents had been killed, and we brought it here. So I've raised it here.
So how do you know?
Of course, they called us because, remember, like I said, we're a rescue center. That any animal that is injured, that is problematic, that is sick, could be a reptile, a snake, it could be a monkey, it could be whatever animal.
I actually wanted to ask that question, like how did you gather them?
So we bring those animals. So they called us. It was in Queen Elizabeth, and it was straying because they had killed, we suspect that killed the parent. And then it was a calf at the time. So we brought it here, all the way from Kasese, and it was brought here at the center. And so we rehabilitated it. You know what it means, losing a parent, and you're straying. Perhaps you could fall in hands of poachers. So we took it up and we have raised it. There it is. We hope one day it will go back to the wild when it's ready for that move. And of course also the zebras, like you can see, they were sick. We treated them, and this is
so that's a young elephant.
Yeah, that is that could be about 4 years, 5 years,
Really?
I think so. 4 to 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, not certain exact, but it could be 4 to 5 years. But it's young.
Okay.
That's young. So those are the animals, some of the animals we have here.
Since time is not on our side, see you tomorrow, same time, right here at Right TV.
So these are tigers, the striped animals.
Okay. Do we have tigers in Uganda?
No, tigers, of course, these are tigers, but they are not exclusive to Africa.
Okay.
What I mean is tigers are found in Asia,
Yes.
and they're not, you will not find them in the wild here in Africa,
In Africa.
except maybe in zoos. For instance, South Africa, because we got this pair of tigers from South Africa.
Okay.
Mystic feathers, we exchanged.
Yes.
It was an exchange program. We gave them monkeys in exchange for a pair of tigers.
Okay.
Now, there are some zoos that do not have a particular species of animal.
Okay.
But these tigers were bred, the breeding from the zoo. So
Okay.
you don't just pick them from the wild and bring them here.